What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. And in this video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on games 1 and 2 of the 2022 NBA Finals between the Warriors and the Celtics, which now sits at 1-1, one game apiece as the series shifts to Boston. And at the time of this recording, Game 3 will be tomorrow night, Warriors and Celtics. And the first two games were very similar, but obviously both had different outcomes. In Game 1, it started out as the Steph Curry game because he made 6 threes in the first quarter, and the Celtics weren't playing as physical on him. A lot of drop coverage and him getting a lot of wide open looks from three, which obviously you can't give Steph Curry, who is the greatest three-point shooter and probably overall shooter of the basketball we've ever seen. And then as the game got going, the Warriors sort of found a way to slow down Steph Curry, which sort of slowed down the Warriors' offense. Aside from that first quarter, he wasn't really making that much of an impact on the game, and it got so difficult for Steph in the final 6 minutes and 5 seconds of the fourth quarter. He ended up not scoring any points, so it felt like once the Celtics found a way to stop Steph Curry, it sort of limited Golden State's offense because Draymond Green gave them 4 points on 2 of 12 shooting in Game 1 and was 0 for 4 from 3. Did have 11 rebounds and 5 assists, but it wasn't really much of an impact on the game. Wiggins was the only other starter to get 20 points, and then Clay was good for 15 points on 6 of 14, and then nothing really off the bench, just Otto Porter going for 12 points, and Iguodala had 7 points in his first game back, coming off that injury. And then for Boston, it was sort of the stinker game for Jason Tatum, the ones that I was saying in my preview of this series that he won't be able to have, because I don't think the Celtics are good enough to beat the Warriors without Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or one of the two, both playing really well and getting some help along the way. But in Game 1, they were able to escape the bad Jason Tatum performance with a win because Jaylen Brown finished the game with 24 points after a rough start because he started getting going in the fourth quarter as the Celtics were down 12 entering the quarter and went on to outscore Golden State by 24 in the fourth quarter and ended up winning the game 120 to 108. So the point differential was huge, largest fourth quarter margin in the history of the NBA Finals. And then once Jaylen Brown started getting going, the other guy that came along with him to help him out was Al Horford, because he went 9 of 12 from the field and had 6 rebounds and 3 assists. But more importantly, he made 6 3-pointers in Game 1 and got an and-one layup at the end to sort of put the icing on the cake for his performance. And overall, as a team, the Celtics were very good from 3 in Game 1. They went 21 of 41, which is good for 51%. And then the other guy who was hitting threes all game for the Celtics was Derek White. He went 5 of 8 from 3. Marcus Smart had 18 points, 4 of 7 from 3. And so it was a very balanced performance by the Celtics. And that's what you want as a superstar player, to be able to have off games and be able to have role players step up and sort of bail you out a little bit, because you know as a star player you're going to be on your game more nights than you aren't. So it was good for Boston to sort of once again have their role players play well in absence of good performances or elite performances from guys like Jason Tatum. And we knew that he would have to bounce back and play better in order for the Celtics to have a more realistic chance to win this series. And after the game, Draymond Green pretty much said that the Warriors are going to continue to play the Celtics the same way. They're not going to lose the games because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown beat them. If they're going to lose the games, they want it to be because they did their jobs on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and the role players just hit shots where you had to go and shake their hand and say good game. So that was their strategy in Game 1. They did a good job on Tatum and Brown, but the role players just found a way to hit big shots. So going ahead to Game 2, it was a different story because, well, not really, because the first half was still really close, and then it was once again the Warriors finding a way to pull away in the third quarter, which a third quarter that was capped off by Jordan Poole hitting a buzzer beater to sort of put the icing on the cake of Game 2. And in Game 2, Steph was the leading scorer for Golden State, scoring 29 points, making 5 threes. Klay Thompson struggled, only having 11 points. And then Andrew Wiggins had 11 points. Kevon Looney had 12 points and 7 boards. Draymond Green played a lot better. He only took 3 shots this game, so he's much smarter with his shot selection. Had 9 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Typical Draymond stat line. And then off the bench, Poole had 17 points, and they got 7 from Gary Payton the second and 6 from Bielitsa. For the Celtics, their three-point shooting was not as potent, but they still shot 40%. But guys like Al Horford and Derek White, who were going off in Game 1, were completely neutralized because Horford only had 2 points on 1 of 4, and Derek White had 12 points on 4 of 13. So essentially Golden State's game plan of daring the role players to beat them worked because they weren't able to. Because Jason Tatum, although he had 28 points, he wasn't very efficient and was taking very tough shots and went 8 of 19. And Jaylen Brown went 5 of 17 from the field and only scored 17 points. So it'll be interesting to see how the Celtics, and in particular Jason Tatum, will play as this series shifts to Boston. Because I think if the Celtics are going to win both of these games at home, which I think they need to do in order to win this series, if they split at home, I feel very comfortable with Golden State winning this series in 5 or 6 games. If Golden State gets both games in Boston, or even if they split, I still feel very comfortable with saying that the Warriors are the better team, that they'll win this series. Because if you look at both games, the majority of the games, besides the fourth quarter of Game 1, Golden State has looked like the better team. So it'll be interesting to see how the Celtics play, what adjustments they make. I'm sure all the role players will play a lot better at home because they'll be satisfied knowing that they got the split, and now it's up to them to defend home court. And then it'll be interesting to see how the Warriors and Steph deal with that pressure of playing on the road in the finals. So tomorrow should be a great game, and then Game 4 should also be a great game. Let me know your guys' predictions for Games 3 and 4. I'm still sticking with Warriors in 6, so I think Golden State's going to win the series in 6 games. Let me know who you guys think is going to win this series, not just the next 2 games, but the series overall. And make sure to check out my other content and other platforms where you can find more content from me. Thanks for watching.